I was sitting down with my kids and we're watching The Bachelor. I'm embarrassed to say that. But we're watching The Bachelor. And The Bachelor this last year got a lot of attention for racial issues. And I think for a lot of us as Christians, there was one part in The Bachelor that we really missed. And if you don't watch the show, it's this show where people come together for love. It's pure, it's honest. It may be the greatest picture of love in the history of Earth. Like Romeo and Juliet are like, oh, it's terrible, it's horrible. People argue with each other over who's there for the right reasons. Nobody's there for the right reasons. But there's this moment where one girl starts a rumor about another girl in the last season, and she says, I've heard she's an escort. She sells herself to men. She's like, of course. I'm not saying it's true. I've just heard these things. But when it came out at the end of the show, here's what the girl said. She said, I am absolutely 100% not a prostitute. And then she followed up with, not that there's anything wrong with being a prostitute. My question is, then why is that an insult to accuse somebody of it? You know? Like, can you imagine somebody accusing me of being an astronaut? I'm not an astronaut. Not that there's anything wrong with being an astronaut. I mean, it's not pure. It's not good. It's not right. It's not true. And oh, by the way, for most people that work in the sex industry, it leads to an unfortunate death. Because we are not to use our body as instruments for evil. But the world's just like, yeah, whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. No. Listen to me. Whatever you are in, God is pulling you out of that. He's calling you into something else. He's calling you from death to life. The wages of sin is death. Here's the problem with sin. It's so brilliant that Paul wrote those words, wages, right? Wages. We think of wages as something good, right? I earn it. I earned this. I worked for this. This is mine. You see, we think of wages as something positive because sin is always a liar about its positive nature. And listen to me, some of you guys, you're still in sin. You know you're going to stand before Jesus. You know you need to be forgiven by Jesus, but you are not living for Jesus. You are still living for sin. Sin still owns you because it's lying to you. You see, sin offers fantasy, but it kills intimacy. That's what it does. It lures you in. It pretends that it's something that you want, something that you need. It invites you. But ultimately, it kills the very thing you seek. Some of you guys, you are trapped in a world of fantasy. And you are missing out on the intimacy that Jesus Christ wants to create in you. And let me tell you something, that fantasy leads to death, not to life.